உடையவர் உபதேசம் தனை கொள்வோம். உடையவர் உபதேசம் தனை கொள்வோம். உயர்வர உயர்நலம் உடையவன் அருள் கொள்வோம். உடையவர் உபதேசம் தனை கொள்வோம். உயர்வர உயர்நலம் உடையவன் அருள் கொள்வோம். உடையவர் உபதேசம் தனை கொள்வோம். உயர்வர உயர்நலம் உடையவன் அருள் கொள்வோம். உடையவர் உபதேசம் தனை
Thank you. Again, Ramanidasan. ஸ்ரீமதி ராமானுஜாய நமஹ. ஸ்மத் குருபியோ நமஹ. அடியார்கள் வாழ, அரங்கநகர் வாழ, சுரகோமன் தந்தம நூல் வாழ, கடல் சூழ்ந்த மண்டலகம் வாழ, பணவாள மாமணி என்று நூற்றாண்டிலும். எல்லாருக்கும் நமஸ்காரம். On behalf of Sri Bhagavad Ramanuja Siddhanta Prachar Sabha, also known as Mumbai Ramanuja Sabha, I have great pleasure in welcoming you all for this online Upanyasam by Sri PARAVASTU VARADARAJAN Swami. We are immensely happy, greatly honored to have Swami here, who was going to deliver this discourse on behalf of Ramanuja Sabha today at the topic, Who Am I? Before I move to the formal introduction, we will take few minutes to give a small introduction about Ramanuja Sabha. Many of you know, but for others who have joined first time to this online Zoom, our Sabha started in 1997. We are going to complete 20 years shortly, with the main objective of uniting all the SriVaishnavites in and around Mumbai, of course, who are living, their relatives living in all over India and abroad, just with the whole objective of spreading Emperumanar's darshanam and Sanatana Dharma messages. So, with that objective, it was started by well-wishers, our senior SriVaishnavites in Mumbai. We have about closer to 500 life members and patron members for this Sabha. Over the years, we have been doing many initiatives, spiritual activities in spreading our Sampradaya. One of the key accomplishment which we recall today, the efforts put forth by our founding members, was establishing Emperumanar Sannidhi at Balaji Temple, Nerul. And our members are regularly participating in Kaingaryams and Sevagalams in many of our temples in and around Mumbai, all Utsavams. We have also celebrated grand manner 1000th Jayanti of Sri Ramanujan in 2016 and 17, and also the 650th year of Nakshatrama of Swami Manohala Mamuni in 2020. So our members also conduct early child classes, and we have established our own website, now Facebook and YouTube channel, to reach larger members and youth, especially to spread our Sanatana Dharma and Sampradayas. So I request all of you to visit our website as well. If you want to make any contribution, now you can do through online as well. So that enablement has been done recently. Moving on to our guest, Sri PARAVASTU VARADARAJAN Swami. As I said, we are very proud to have Swami here. Many of you know him, and you don't need a formal introduction is the required for the Swami, because his contribution through social media, especially YouTube channel, through his Bhaktamrudam channel, is very popular nowadays. Swami, thanks for that, establishing that kind of spreading the awareness. Lot of Acharya Purushas and SriVaishnava Adhikaris he has been introducing. Even personally, I am one of the beneficiaries and regularly watch that channel for knowing many great scholars, including Gaumatam Swami, Velapudi Swami, K.V. Devarajan Swami, a lot of Acharya Purushas. We know them, we have heard their Upanyasams, but we may not know so personally. The way in which Swami introduced them, asked questions them very nicely, with a lot of Vatsalyams, very personally, we come to know about their upbringing and their younger days and how they brought into Sampradaya, etc. So, fantastic initiative on social media. Just to give a small intro about Swami, has been the lineage, is coming under lineage of Sri PARAVASTU Bhattarbiran G.R. Swami, also fondly called as Bhattanath Swami, was one of the Ashtathi Gajangal of established by Swami Manohala Mamuni, who has also propagated the total surrender to Guru through his work, Atimobaya Nishtai. We all know that. Sri Varadarajan Swami is a great scholar. He has also completed his MA degree in Vishishtadvaita and Vedanta. He is also currently serving Srirangam for Kuperiya Govil Vidwan, and also doing his Nitya Kalakshevam in Udeva Sannadhi. He has got trained in SriBhashyam, Bhagavat Vishayam, and Ragasya Granthas under supervision of Sri Bharatan Swami, Sri Vishnuchitan Swami, and also Sri Velapudi Krishnan Swami. He has studied Samaveda. He is also, as you know, giving a lot of Upanyasam in Tamil, Telugu. He has a lot of Pandityam in many languages, Telugu, Hindi, English, so Sanskrit. So it reaches a larger audience, which is actually very much appreciable. We, on behalf of Ramani Sabha, we extend our warm Kritanjali to Swami today for this topic. I think this topic is very popular, fundamental topic still. How many times you hear from various Vidwans on this topic, we still have to learn many things. So each time we go to zero and then we start afresh. So such a topic Swami has chosen. We are really proud to have that. I think I don't want to give big Upanyasam when Swami is present. I think I'll stop here. Only one thing before I conclude is our Sabha is really proud to have such a wonderful support from all of you members, well-wishers, and managing committee members to initiate this type of Upanyasam. We have been doing this online for a long time. It's not first time we are doing, but again, we want to have such Upanyasam like this more in coming days. So again, we are reinitiating this year. Swami being the first person for this quarter, I would say, or 2025, this type of series is leading this thing. So with that, I conclude my welcome address. Welcome, Swami, and handing over the mic to you for this discourse. Adi and Ramanidas.
Okay. For the benefit of others, Adin would request the admin to spotlight Adin's video so that everyone will be able to watch me.
Done, sir.
Okay. यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये. A hearty welcome to one and all who have dedicated their time to attend this particular session, where we will be trying to address a very important question, that is, who am I? I extend my hearty welcome to one and all. I do not want to spend time in the introduction, so let's dive straight into the topic. In Sanatana Dharma, we find many Sampradayas. You will find Vaishnavism, you will find Shaivism, you will find Shakta Matam, and all. There are so many Sampradayas due to differences in the deities who are worshipped. And also, you will find differences in philosophies as well. We have many Sampradayas which follow Dvaita, Advaita, and so on. We here are interested in Vishishtadvaita mainly, and SriVaishnava Sampradaya. One is based on the deity we worship, and the other one is the philosophy we follow. Ramanujacharya advocated Vishishtadvaita and Vaishnavism. But for today's lecture, we'll be mostly addressing who am I according to Sanatana Dharma. And in the end, we'll try to explain what the Vishishtadvaita view or Vaishnavite view is regarding the same topic. So, who am I? If I put forward this question towards a very small child, most probably, if we ask who you are, then the child would answer, I am so and so. Most probably, he would just tell his name, right? If asked in my childhood, I would have said, I am Varadarajan. So, I identify with my name, right? And if pressed, I would have changed lightly. Who you are? Maybe I would have answered, I'm a student, I study in this class, and so on. Today, we are going to analyze whether these are the real identities that we can identify ourselves with. And in the end of this session, we'll have an interaction, kind of Q&A like type of interaction. So please be patient, and you can surely ask your questions in the end. Now, who am I? I cannot be my name, or I cannot identify myself with my name, because when I was born, or this body was born, I still did not have my name. Usually in Hindu tradition, a name is given on the 11th day, 12th day, so on. So till then, the baby was present without a name. So that name is not something that is innate to that baby. It was given by someone else at some point of time. So I can never identify myself. It's simply a name, right? And then sometimes we also find that people do not like their name. I know many people who don't like the name given by their parents. So they change their name. So the name is not something permanent that we can identify ourselves with. So I am not Varadarajan. So what am I? If asked now, someone would probably say that I am an Upanyasak, I'm a lecturer, or maybe a YouTuber, or something like that. But there was a time when I was not a YouTuber. There was a time when I was not a lecturer, but I was there. So I am not a YouTuber. I am not a lecturer always, or it is temporary, whatever, being a YouTuber or being a lecturer, so on. So, like, if we go on discussing about that, we'll end up saying that I am this body, right? So, there is a specific point of time when this body was born, and only after that point of time was I present. So, who am I? We may say, I am this body. Okay. I am this body. But our acharyas, they clearly mention that the I is not this body. They say, Dehendriya manaf prana dhibhyonyaha. The I is different from this body, the sense organs, the mind, and so on. So, Deha, Indriya, Manah, Prana, Dibhyonyaha. So, I'm not this body. I am not my sense organs. I'm not my mind. I'm not my breath. And I am not intellect. I am something else. I am different from this. The usual argument that our acharyas have made goes as follows. Usually, whenever we use the word I and the word my, we see that when we say this is my laptop, this is my house, this is my wall, and so on, there is a clear difference between I and that object. So basically, that which is me cannot be mine. This is the argument which has been placed by many acharyas. That which is me cannot be mine. So basically, when I say this is my wall or this is my house, this is my laptop, it is different from who I am really. In that way, usually we also say, this is my body, this is my body, these are my hands, and so on. So, going by that logic, that which is me cannot be mine. So, this body cannot be me. This body cannot be me. And when I say my organs, my breath, and so on, we can come to the conclusion that I is not these objects or these particles as well. Usually, there is this question that is asked. If you say that by saying my body, you end up with something which is not your body, then there are tons of people who say my soul, right? If what they say is true, then going by our own logic, what happens is we are not even the soul, right? That is a question that's asked a lot. So basically, what we say is we completely understand, we feel that I am not this body. There are many people in this world who say, I was born in the wrong body. So they always understand themselves as something other than this body itself. And also, there is this point. It has been told that this body was born at some point of time, right? And this body started to grow. This body starts to grow. Most of the organs that we know in this body, they were not present when we were born. Or the organs were present, the cells that made up that particular organ are not present today. There is this argument, which has been shown even in Western philosophy. There is an example of a boat given. So there is a boat now, which is made up of there is numerous pieces of wood. Okay. There is this boat. It has been named something. Let's name it Vishnu Pota. Okay. Now this boat has been named Vishnu Pota. There is some problem in that boat. Some piece of wood started to leak. Okay. The owner of that boat changed that piece of wood. In the course of time, what happened is many pieces of wood had to be replaced. Okay. Had to be replaced. And at some point of time, let's take after 10 years, 15 years, or even 100 years to take, there was not a single piece of wood remaining which was part of that boat when it was actually built. Okay. The boat which was named Vishnu Pota has now existed for 100 years, but there is not a single piece of wood or single nail or something else which constitutes this boat at this point of time. But even now, we call it what? We call it Vishnupota. So, what exactly has been common in that whole period of time that makes Vishnupota existent for so long, for such a long period of time? So, actually, there is nothing which has been constant because everything has been changed. The owner who chose to call it the Vishnupota, his intent to call that boat Vishnupota was the only thing that remained. Or maybe there were many people who just, called it Vishnupota even after the owner was gone. The intent in that people was the one which was consistent. So there is nothing in that boat which is consistent, but there is someone external who considers that to be one, and hence that amalgamation of pieces of wood was called Vishnupota, even when there was not a single piece of wood left. Similarly, now we know this body, right? It is said that most of the cells which were present when we were born are not present now, and they won't be present when this body will eventually die. So this body is not a single entity, or it's not made up of the same entities for the whole period of time. It always changes. This body is always changing. What we eat transforms into our body, and that which was our body previously is no more our body. It has been it has been excreted, it has gone out. So this body is not something which is constant. It is not something constant. So this body was made up of particles which are not present now, or they won't be present at some point of time. Mostly they said there are only some cells which will be present from the beginning to the end. So basically, this body is something which is changing, and so this body cannot be me. Because if you say that the the organs which made up this body are called me, then most of the cells are not present today. So I must not be me, but I am still me. Okay, so I cannot be my body. So there are many arguments that we can make. So here I have made two arguments, right? One is that I consider this to be my body. So when I say my body, then it is not me. That is one argument. And I have told that I'll answer a question. I'll be answering that. I haven't yet forgotten that. Okay. So when I say my body, I am not my body. That is one thing. And the other one is my consciousness, my feeling that I am present has been there from a lot of time. But the body itself has been changing. So the body cannot be me. That is another point that I had made. So there are 2 points. So I cannot be my body. And again, am I sense organs? That's also, we have so many sense organs. We are conscious about ourselves even if we lose 1 or 2 sense organs and all so on. So I cannot be sense organs as well. And am I my mind? Am I my mind? Again, the same argument can be done here as well. I cannot be my mind because I know I am using I am using my mind to know something or to do some activities and all. So I understand my mind as mine. So we understand it as mine, so it cannot be me. Another thing is, in Shastras, we call mind as manas. Manas, it is said. The object called manas itself is not pratyaksha. We cannot, perceive it through our sense organs. We consider manas to be present due to some reasons. We infer that there must be some manas. Because even when our sense organs are not working, we are able to think. Like I could close my eyes, I could close my ears, I could close other organs, and even then I can think. I can do some activity, mental activity. So there must be something which is facilitating my mental activities. So that's the reason we infer that there must be something called the mind. So by definition, mind is something which facilitates thought, which facilitates some other things. So by definition, it is something which facilitates the Jivatma or the soul. So the manas cannot be the soul itself. So going by this argument, we can come to the conclusion that there is something other than this body, other than the so-called manas, other than our sense organs, that is present and that is permanent while the body, the manas, they are going through transformations or some other things. So what is that? Where does this consciousness arise from? So we all understand what consciousness is through our experience, right? We know that I am present. We experience that I am doing something. I smell this. I see this. So there is this experience that we have. We are conscious of ourselves. We are conscious of our experiences. We are conscious of our knowledge and all. So there is this consciousness that arises somehow. According to my little knowledge of whatever I have read, Adin has found that the scientists have no consensus regarding from where consciousness has arisen, from where the consciousness has arose, whatever. So for now, scientists are still debating. Actually, I was listening to a scientist. He said, if you go to a library, you will find a limited number of books regarding some things. And you will find a large number of books regarding consciousness. He went on to explain that since scientists themselves cannot be sure for now regarding how consciousness arises, so there are so many theories. Everyone has their own theory. And so they haven't yet come to a consensus. Okay. So while they are yet to come to a consensus, our Shastras, they specifically say that consciousness or the feeling of I, the experience of I, arises due to the existence of something called the Atma, the soul. Okay, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the Indriyas and all. I am this object which is called soul in other languages. To be precise, we can call it the Atma. So there is something which is different from all these we experience, like the body and all, which is called Atma. So it is Dehendriya Manafprana Dibhyaha Anyaha. That is, it is different from body, sense organ, this, that, and so on. It is something which is called the Jivatma. It is the Jivatma that has consciousness. It is the Jivatma which experiences the feeling of I. It is the Jivatma that experiences sorrow. It is the Jivatma that experiences happiness and all. So all these things, the body, the mind, our sense organs and so on, they all facilitate the Jivatma to experience the worldly things. So there is something which is the Jivatma, they say. Actually, our acharyas have said this. There are two ways to come to this conclusion. That is, there are some arguments, and then we have the Shastras. The problem with arguments is that I may argue something, and there may be a more intelligent person who may come and easily refute my arguments, right? Vedavyasa in his Brahma Sutra says, Tarka Pratishtanat. Tarka, that is logic, it cannot be established. Like I may use some logic to do something, to establish something, and there will always be a person who may come and refute my logic. So only going through logic, we may end up with an Atma, or we may end up with something else. So we need Shastras. We need Shastras. And Shastras explicitly say that there is something which is other than the body, the Indriyas and all. The Shastras are very clear regarding that. Through Shastras, even if my arguments fail, our Acharyas say, even if our arguments fail, there is always Shastras which help us understand that there is an entity which is other than this body and all. So that is called Jivatma, they say. I have a lot to tell about, science versus religion. Can Shastras refute something science establishes and all? There is a lot to tell about regarding that. My view is that science and religion never converge, or they never contradict each other. There is a very good argument that has been made in SriVaishnava and all. Maybe we'll have another session regarding science versus religion, where we can understand what the standpoint of Shastras is in such a way that we can understand Shastras without any contradiction with science. So that will be for another day. For now, let's understand that it is very important to notice that there is an entity which is other than this body, the mind, and so on. So these are the arguments mainly posed by our acharyas. But one thing that we can add to today's context is that we find that there is no real mention regarding the brain. The brain is some organ which has been, kind of ignored in the ancient texts. But today, we have so many developments in science and all, and we understand what the brain actually does. So many of the scientists believe that it is a brain that leads to consciousness. Okay, so maybe I'm not sure regarding that, but most of the scientists would probably say that the amalgamation of brain and some other organs, they all lead to consciousness, right? But again, what exactly is conscious? What is that entity which considers itself to be conscious, or which experiences consciousness? That's a question that can still not be answered by others. So our Shastras answer that it is the Jivatma. It is the Jivatma who is conscious, who is experiencing everything, right? So we end up with the belief in Jivatma. There is something which is other than this body. Now again, there is another question. Why do we need to understand all these things? Why do I need to understand who I am? So it is very important. In every sampradaya, in every religion, it is always told that you must understand yourself. Understanding one's own self is very important to be successful or to be even happy. We find that there are people who do not understand themselves. Like you'll find many students who do not know what they actually want to uh, do in their life. They are pushed to do some engineering or join in a medical college and all by their parents, by their peers, by their friends and all. And once they become doctors or engineers, they end up miserable. They don't find happiness because they have done something without knowledge of themselves. So they, one thing is that sometimes people do not understand themselves, and sometimes they do not act accordingly. There are two things. Okay, so sometimes they just don't understand what they really want. So when they end up becoming something else, they end up miserable because they did not have a real idea of who I am. So it is very important for us to understand who I am. Only then can we move towards a goal which will lead us to success or happiness. Okay, let's leave alone success. Usually, happiness can only be found when we understand ourselves the best and act accordingly. So, it is very important to understand who I am. Now, let's just take an example. There is a person who identifies himself as a cricketer. Just assume. If someone assumes himself as a cricketer, so he identifies himself as a cricketer now. That is his identity. Now he'll choose a goal according to that identity. Most probably he'll be aiming to play for the Indian national cricket team, or he'll be aiming to play in a World Cup, or bring the World Cup for his country and all. So that is his goal. The second phase. And then to achieve that goal, now he has identified himself as a cricketer. Then he has set a goal for himself, and then now he has to achieve that goal. To achieve that goal, he has to go through a lot of practice, a lot of hard work and all. So there are three things that every person must understand: who I am, what my goal is, and what I need to do to achieve that goal. It all starts with the understanding of one's own self. When someone doesn't understand what he himself wants or what he himself is, then he can never come up with the right goal. And if he cannot come up with the right goal, he can never end up happy. So it's very important to understand who I am, even in a normal scenario. Let's not get into spirituality. Even in a normal scenario, it's important to understand who I am, what I am interested in, what will make me happy. So understanding of one's own self is very important to set a right goal and then achieve that, and be happy or whatever. So going in that way, it's very important even in the spiritual context to understand who I am. Only then can I set a right goal in my spiritual journey, and only then can only then can I attain that goal. So now we understood that I am something other than this body and all. Shastras are very clear about that. They say that there is a soul, there is this Jivatma, which obtains bodies throughout his, throughout his time. You can't say lifetime, right? And this Jivatma, who is eternal, he is beginningless. He has always gone through, maybe infinite number of births. He's always taking births and births. And what he does is he possesses bodies, obtains bodies, he does some karma, and again he dies, and again possesses some other body, and he goes on. So we must understand that I am something different from this body. I am not this body, but rather I'm the one who possesses this body. This body is mine, and I am the soul who possesses this body. I am the Jivatma. It is very important to understand this. In the Shastras, it has been very clearly mentioned. Even the Bhagavad Gita starts with this explanation. Arjuna, in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, he's in the battlefield. He, tells Krishna to place his chariot between the two armies. Senayor bhayor madhye ratham sthapayamechyuta, he says. And Krishna does as told. And once they reach the center of the battlefield, Arjuna looks at who is in front of him, who is going to, fight him. He looks at them. There are so many people. There are his relatives, his friends, his acharyas, and so on. He looks at them and he, becomes very fearful. He starts saying, I don't want to, fight this battle. And I don't want to kill these people and, attain a kingdom. I don't want such a kingdom, he says. And, he places his bow and arrow on the floor and he just sits. He says, I won't fight this battle anymore. And then Krishna, he starts the Gita Upadesha. And it starts from the second chapter. The first chapter is like a foreword, what happened there. And in second chapter, after the 10 shlokas, Gita Shastram starts. That's where Krishna starts to explain that the Atma is different from the body. And this is the first lesson even Krishna teaches. That's the reason we start this series with this particular lesson or this particular session. Because understanding who I am is very important. And Krishna specifically mentions that there is someone called the Jivatma who is different from this body. This body is temporary. It is not permanent. But the Jivatma is Nitya, he says. Jivatma is Nitya, he is eternal. And what he does is, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grunhati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sayyati navani dehi. Krishna clearly mentions that when, our clothes, they get torn, they are not, eligible to be worn. At that point of time, we just leave them, discard them, and, buy new clothes. Similarly, a Jivatma, he possesses a body, and once that body is rendered useless, he leaves that body and travels to another body. So it's similarly, Krishna actually explains to Arjuna that it is as simple as that. Because when we say that Jivatma is eternal, he is beginningless, we must understand how many births he must have gone through. And Krishna understands everything. So for him, birth and death are very small things. So it is like changing clothes, he says. So even Krishna starts his Upadesha with explaining what the Jivatma actually is. So that second chapter, that part of second chapter explains the existence of a Jivatma, which is eternal, which cannot be killed, which cannot be destroyed, and so on. So we must understand that I am different from this body, which is temporary. I am permanent. Okay, right? So this is the first step. I am the Jivatma. So what are the consequences of this understanding? See, when we think that we are this body, we start to assume that my lifetime is for, around 75, 80, whatever. It differs for each person, but we have limited time. And, we start giving importance for worldly things, material benefits. Because for us, there are only 70 years and we have to achieve as much as possible in this, period of time that which has been provided to us. And sometimes it may also lead to this kind of thought. See, when someone starts believing that once I am dead, there is no consequence that I'll be facing, then he may even indulge in wrong activities. Like you see, we usually, as humans, tend to do mistakes when we know that there is no one looking. Most of us, we travel, we travel in our vehicles, and most of us know that when there is no traffic police at a particular place, we tend to break rules. And sometimes even when we are good people, and we won't cross and all, we won't do that. Even when a traffic police is not present, you will find that there are numerous people, a large number of people who just break that rule because they know that they will be facing no consequence. So as humans, we have a tendency to do wrong deeds when we know that we won't be facing any consequence. And so when we think that it is this body, that's all, we try to, we think that if I, while away my time somehow, and till I am, till this body is done, I may face no consequence at all. So there are many people who are not, interested in dharma and all. What they think is, I have 70 years or 75 years or whatever. I have to be happy in those years, in that period of time. Whatever may happen, may happen. I don't care because there is no consequence later. And, people who do adharma, they may also think that if at all I do adharma and, I escape from police and or the, law enforcement, so I won't be facing any consequence. So I can do the wrong deed. So when someone thinks that he's just this body, the consequences may even be like this. I am not telling that everyone who thinks himself as a body will do so. That's not my point. But philosophically, we can say that it may lead to that particular consequence. So we must understand that no, whatever I do will have a consequence, even if it is noticed by someone I know or not, or if even if it is not, even if it is noticed by someone, or if it is not noticed by anyone. So we must understand that there is this Jivatma. Even after this body is done, this Jivatma has to face consequences of the deeds which have been done during this period of time. So when we think that it is this body, we may become complacent. We may start thinking, whatever period of time we have, even if I do dharma or adharma, I just must make sure that I am not caught by the law enforcement. That's all. That may be a consequence. But when we start understanding that no, every action that I do will have a consequence in this birth or in future, then we may start realizing that we must travel on the right path, on the dharmic path. So understanding that the Atma is different from this body, and this Atma will be facing consequences of every action we do, or we and the Atma is not different. I am the one doing, right? So I'll be facing the consequence at some point of time. This leads to a dharmic way of life. Okay, this is one point that we must understand. And now there were three things that I wanted to address. Who am I? And what nature does I do I have? And what is the relationship between the I, the Jivatma, and Bhagavan? These are the three things that I wanted to address in this particular session. So one point is, the first answer is, I am the Jivatma. So who am I? The answer will be, I am a Jivatma. I am an Atma who is different from all the body and all. Okay, this is the first answer that we must understand. So I had actually posed a question before and I told that I will be answering later on. Now let's come to, when people say my soul, will it lead to understanding that the soul is different from me? No. Here we must understand that the body or our sense organs or other organs and all, we can perceive them, we can understand them. So we know their qualities and all. And through inference or through Shastras, we come up with an entity which is called the Jivatma, which is by definition, because I perceive, I experience this body to be mine, I infer that there must be some entity other than this body. So by definition, I is Jivatma, because we are not perceiving Jivatma through our sense organs, right? We are coming to a conclusion through inference or through Shastras. And when we conclude that there is an entity called Jivatma, by definition, it is I. So what we conclude is the I is equal to Jivatma. That is a conclusion we draw. But due to our, we have always been, we have this tendency, right? We have this tendency to tell everything as mine. This is my book, this is my body, this is my eyes, this is my thing and all. So due to that tendency, due to misunderstanding, we use the word my soul or my Atma. Okay, but there my Atma actually means I the Atma, because by definition Atma is I. So when someone says this is my soul, they may not have a good understanding, or what they want to say, what they mean is I the Atma, that's all. Okay, so by definition the entity is I. So the usage my soul is wrong in a way. And a person with understanding, when he says my soul, what he actually means is I the soul. Okay, so that is answered. And so we have seen a lot of things, right? The boat example and all. So there must be something which is permanent, which has been coming on to make the identity remain. So what remains with me is the Jivatma, that is I. The body changes, the other things they change or they are considered to be mine. So the only thing that remains is I, the Jivatma, right? So the first question, who am I? It is I am the Jivatma. I am a Jivatma. So basically these arguments, and actually if we go deep into our Shastri Granthas, they have done many more arguments. They have gone very deep into this, and I have just touched the surface. And one more thing is that our Shastri Granthas are all in Sanskrit, right? Sanskritam. And explaining those concepts in an alien language, foreign language such as English, is also very tough. And maybe our Indian languages, if used, could do more justice to this topic. But considering that we have to reach a wider audience, Adian chose to speak in English. But if I could have spoken in another language, which is which is such that Sanskrit words can be used very easily, that would be more easier to explain these things. And one thing is, I have just touched the surface. They have done many more arguments in many granthas, like Ramanujacharya, Pillai Lokacharya, Vedanta Deshika, and many other acharyas. Even in the texts of Shankaracharya and all, you'll find the arguments regarding the existence of Jivatma in many texts. Okay, I haven't seen these arguments in Shankaracharya's texts, but usually every Astik Darshana does have, so it must be there, right? Okay, so who am I? I am the Jivatma. That is one thing. And then, what is the nature of Jivatma? And the third question is, what is the relationship between Jivatma and Paramatma? Actually, both these questions, they are interrelated. You cannot understand the nature of the Jivatma without understanding the relationship with Paramatma. Each Sampradaya has its own explanation. But as told before, that in the end I would be, speaking according to Vaishnava Sampradaya. So from now on, I'll be speaking according to Vaishnava Sampradaya Vishishtadvaita. In Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta, we say that the Jivatma is eternal. Most of the Sampradayas say so, and we also say that Jivatma is eternal. Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Puranaha. Krishna clearly mentions Ajaha, Nityaha, Shashvataha. He is eternal. So that is one thing. And in the Brahma Sutras, Vedavyasa, he has also established that the Jivatma is very minute in size. He is very sukshma. He is called Anuhu. He is very minute in size. That is the Jivatma. Yeshonuratma, Shastras say. So his nature, he is eternal and he is very small, very minute, atomic in size. And there are many other things. He has the ability to know something. So we tell sentient, right? Sentient being. The Jivatma has the ability to understand something, know something. We have many particles around us, such as, there is this, my body itself, my body itself, and this wall, this mic, everything. These are non-sentient. They can never know something, right? But the Jivatma has the capability to understand itself, understand others, know others. So it is basically sentient. So that is also one aspect of Jivatma that we must understand. So the Jivatma is minute in size, he is eternal, and he has the ability to know. So these are the qualities of Jivatma. And these qualities are not most important. The most important quality would be the Jivatma's Sheshatvam, it is said. In Alavandar Stotram, there was a very prominent Acharya before Ramanujacharya who is called Yamunacharya. He has written a stotra in which he says, Vapura Dishu Yopi Kopiva Gunato Saniyatha Tatha Vidaha Tadayam Tava Pada Padmayoho Ahamadyaiva Maya Samarpitaha. He says, let's not ponder over what this Jivatma actually is, what its nature actually is. Let him be the body, let him be sense organs, let him be whatever, and let his nature be whatever. But one thing is sure, this Jivatma is the possession of Paramatma. He is for Paramatma. He is subservient to Paramatma. That is the most important quality of the Jivatma that must be understood, Yamunacharya says. So according to Vaishnava Sampradaya, all the Jivatmas are subservient to Bhagavan. That is the most important nature of the Jivatma that must be understood. According to Vaishnava tradition, even the Pranava speaks the same thing. We usually find that Pranava is Omkara, right? The Omkara finds place in many mantras. And in all those mantras, you will find, like, the Ashtakshari mantra. In Ashtakshari mantra, you will find the Omkara, and then you will find the Namaha, and then you will find the Narayanaya. Anyone who has little knowledge of Sanskritam, will know that Narayanaya, it is in Chaturthi Vibhakti, the fourth conjugation, right? I'm not sure about the English word. It is called Chaturthi Vibhakti. Now, Narayana, that word is in the fourth conjugation, fourth Vibhakti, right? Now, in the same mantra, you will find the Omkara. Now, in this Omkara, you will find three letters. The first one is Akara, A. The second one is Ukara, U. And the third one is Makar. You cannot pronounce Makar. You cannot pronounce Makar independently. If you say you add some vowel to it. Okay, Makar cannot be pronounced independently. When it is pronounced along with the A and U, then it becomes Om. You can pronounce the Makara. But without them, Makar cannot be pronounced independently. So there are three letters in Pranava. Now the Akara Akara, denotes Bhagavan. Aiti Bhagavato Narayanasya Prathamabhidhanam. This has been told in the Mahabhashyam. You know, everyone must be aware of Vyakarana Sutras written by the Rishi Panini. There is a commentary done by Patanjali called Mahabhashyam, which is a very great text and which is considered to be the most important text in Sanskrit grammar. Okay, in Mahabhashyam, it has been said that Ayiti Bhagavato Narayanasya Prathamabhidhanam. The letter A denotes Bhagavan Narayana. Okay, now anyone who has some knowledge regarding Sanskrit, who has some awareness regarding Sanskrit, knows that in Sanskritam, when two words denote the same person, they must be in the same conjugation, same vibhakti they must be. Okay, so in a mantra, you find Narayanaya, which is in Chaturthi vibhakti. And you will find in the same mantra in Pranava, Akara, which is denoting Bhagavan. So this Akara must also be ending with the fourth conjugation. This is the conclusion given by our acharyas. So Akara has the fourth conjugation, fourth Chaturthi vibhakti, which actually means that I am for him. Okay. When we say Narayanaya, for Narayanaya, it denotes. So now we in Omkara have Akara, and then we have the Ukara, and then we have the Makara. The Makara, it denotes the Jivatma. Makarartho Jivaha, it is said. So Makara denotes the Jiva. Now, when we bring them together, this Jivatma is for Bhagavan, we end up, right? And the Ukara in between, it denotes Eva. Eva Karaha desi, Avadharana Artha desi. In English, we can, loosely translate it as only, right? So Jivatma is only for Paramatma. That is the end result that we get from the Pranava. So Jivatma is for Paramatma. That is his life, his activities. Everything must be for the Paramatma. That is what we understand from the Omkara, that is the Pranava. Okay, so Pranava denotes the subservient nature of the Jivatma, and that nature of Jivatma must be understood by every Sri Vaishnava, by everyone, so that they can now come up with the right kind of goal. So now we have understood that I am a Jivatma whose nature is like as follows. He is eternal, he is minute, atomic in nature, in size, and he is subservient to Bhagavan. So once we understand this, now we must look at what our goal must be. When we understand that being subservient to Bhagavan is our nature, then we can come up with the right goal. And what would be that goal? That goal would be eternal service to Bhagavan. Eternal service to Bhagavan. And how to achieve that service has been shown in the Shastras. There are many ways. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Sharanagati, Acharya Abhimana. They say there are many ways to achieve that eternal service to Bhagavan. That must be for another video. So what our goal is and what are the means to achieve that particular goal can be discussed in future sessions. So what we actually understood today or what we analyzed today is that who am I? So everyone must be answering this. If someone comes and asks who you are, you must be saying, I am a Jivatma who is subservient to Bhagavan. But, our acharyas have always been very particular about this. Let me, tell you a story and then I end this lecture. There was a great Acharya in the time of Ramanujacharya. His name was Vishnu Chitta. His name was Vishnu Chitta. He was called Engalalvan in Tamil. His name in Sanskritam was Vishnu Chitta. And he lived nearby. Dasa is speaking from Srirangam. So there is a nearby Divinesham, which is called Tiruvellarai Shvetagiri. He used to live there, Vishnu Chitta Swami. There was a very intelligent, talented, young lad, young boy from Kanchipuram. His name was Varadacharya. He later on became a very great Acharya. Maybe I should not be using the word boy and all. He became a very great Acharya. But that Swami, when he was very young, when he was still a boy, he started learning from his grandfather. He used to ask so many questions that his grandfather started thinking that I won't be able to answer all his questions because I am very old. So I have to send him to somewhere, to some person who can, teach him well. So he told his grandson to, go to this Vishnu Chitta Swami. So this person who is called Varadacharya, this small boy, from Kanchipuram, he comes to this Shvetagiri to learn. To learn, he comes so far. Mainly, he came to learn SriVaishnava, the commentary of Ramanujacharya on Brahma Sutras. So he came here. He knocked the door of that Swami's house. From inside, the Swami asked, "Who is that?" And this small boy, this Swami, he replied, "I am Varadacharya," he said. That Swami immediately replied, "Nan settu va." Nan settu va. This is a Tamil phrase, okay? It can be translated to English in as follows. Come after I am dead. Okay. This lad who was outside, he didn't understand anything. Ari, who would say something like this? He went away and he pondered over what was actually said. And then he understood, oh, Swami has some deeper meaning. The next time he came, he knocked the door. Swami questioned from inside, who is that? And now he answered, this is Adiyen, this is your Dasa, Varadacharya, he said. Swami opened the door now. What he actually meant before was that the I in you must die. So when he said, die, come after I have died, what he actually meant is the I or the ahankara in you must be dead before you learn. So we end up understanding that I is the Dasa of Bhagavan. So I am no more for myself, but for Bhagavan. I am no more I, but I is the Dasa of Bhagavan. So we'll end this conversation, we'll end this lecture with this point that we started with I, but ended up with Dasa. That's why in Ramanuja Sampradaya, we use this word Adiyen, which is from the Tamil language, which denotes I, the Dasa. Adiyen actually means I, the Dasa. That's why when we talk to other bhaktas, we always use the word Adiyen. We always want to instill in ourselves the nature of servitude. So we always use that word Adiyen, Dasa. And when, speaking in English and all, we can use the word Dasa and all. So I am different from the body and all, and I am subservient to Bhagavan. So the relationship between Bhagavan and Jivatma has also been established. This Jivatma is the servant of Paramatma. That is a very important aspect of SriVaishnava Sampradaya. So thank you for giving this opportunity to speak on this topic. The Mumbai Ramanuja Prachara Sabha has given me this opportunity to speak on this topic. I took this opportunity to invite all our audiences from our Bhaktamritam YouTube channel, because I have always received many messages from our viewers that they wanted to attend some classes or something where they can interact with me. So I could have done this individually also, but I found this, so I thought it would be useful for everyone, and so Adin had posted the link in our YouTube channel and all. So many people have joined, and hopefully I have instilled some understanding regarding the Jivatma. I know that today I have just touched the surface. These arguments, they have many things which can be easily refuted, and we have many more answers to them and all, and that can be going on and on. But we also have shastras and so on, so there is a lot to be actually explored, but I have just touched the surface. And in the upcoming sessions we can try to speak about more topics, and have a healthy discussion regarding our Sanatana Dharma and all. Now I open this meeting to your questions. Anyone who is ready to, who wants to ask some questions, can ask your questions. Please also have your video on, so that I know who's asking what, and in a orderly manner, let's have this discussion going on. Thank you again for everyone who has joined this meeting, and if you found this interesting or useful in any way, you can also tell others to join this kind of meeting. Most of you must be knowing our channel, Bhaktamritam channel. We recently started a uh, WhatsApp channel also, where we can post regarding these sessions and all. So I urge everyone to go to our channel, see our community post, where we have given a link of the WhatsApp channel link. I'll try to even post that link in the chat of this meeting also. So if you join that, you'll be updated regarding when you can join and what sessions may take place and all. So I urge every one of you to join our group, so that you don't miss upcoming sessions. Thank you very much.
So, on behalf of Sri Bhagavat Ramanuja Siddhanta Prachar Sabha, I extend a hearty vote of thanks to everybody. Our Kritanyadaya to PARAVASTU SWAMI, and our sincere thanks to all the audience, all the people who have attended, taken the time and attended the today's session. For the benefit of all the people, I would like to say that this video of this session will be uploaded in our YouTube channel as well. Mumbai Ramanuja Sabha, their website is mumbaiRamanujasabha.org, and there is a Mumbai Ramanuja Sabha YouTube channel as well. So we will be uploading this on that. And also there is an email ID, mumbaiRamanujasabha@gmail.com. So anybody who has a query or who has suggestions for future sessions, see, from the various questions we can see that Swami's lecture has provoked a lot of questions from everybody in everybody's mind. So it has been very thought-provoking. So I am sure people will come up with a lot of questions. So you are free to send the questions either to Swami directly in their Bhaktamritam channel, or through Mumbai Raman Sabha to our email ID, mumbaiRamanSabha@gmail.com. We can also give suggestions for what can be the topics for our future sessions, because we only started this as a beginning, as a first of a series of lectures on Vaishnava Sampradaya. So I think it has been very fruitful and very thought-provoking. So we propose to continue this series. In consultation with Swami, we will decide on the future topics. We will also welcome suggestions from all our audience about what type of sessions they would be interested in. But we would like it to be a step-by-step learning of Vaishnava Sampradaya. So we would like to go in that direction. I know there are a lot of advanced level questions also coming up in today's session, but we would like to go step by step, because we are aiming to have this series mainly for benefit of youngsters who are either new or novices to our Vaishnava Sampradaya, and who are interested in learning about the same. So in that connection, we started this series. So we would like to continue the series under the same thinking in mind. So once again, our Kritanyade to Swami and our thanks to all the audiences who attended today's session. Thank you all.
Thank you.